Hey everyone, it's Clint Salter, your host for Dance Teachers Unite for 2015, and welcome to today's masterclass. Now, today is all about programs that profit, and so I wanted to bring on an expert when it comes to preschool programs. Now, if you've heard of anything that I've talked about ever before, you know that I'm a huge fan of building your preschoolers, your preschool department, whatever that might be for you in your studio. It's great because it's the foundation of your studio, and then these little ones turn into bigger ones and bigger ones. So we want to get those little ones into our studio. So I was like, who can we talk to? Who can we talk to about this that can shed some light on how to make it work, how to keep those little ones engaged and entertained and not licking the mirrors? And so today I'm talking with the lovely Kate Barber. Hi, Kate. How are you?
Very well, Clint.
Excellent. Thanks for joining us. Now, Kate, tell our audience in like 60 seconds, there's not a lot of time, a little bit about what you do and also what's your big mission in the world?
Sure. I use dance, in particular creative ballet, to inspire 2 to 8-year-olds and in turn creating happy and proud mums. It's through my business, Big Steps Little Feet, that I like to consider myself as a bit of an experienced architect for young dancers, and in turn working with busy, hardworking mums to create a different, more authentic, deeper connection with their children. Mm. I'm a former contemporary dancer. I've been teaching for 20 years, and we've got 500 kids coming to classes each week in Bondi and Balmain. And I think the reason why it's so successful is that I have a principal method and I have a delivery method. So I use a storytelling practice to pull focus, to engage children's imagination. So that way we can work on their fundamental movement skills as well as firing the neural networks in their brain.
I love it. And we're going to jump into all of that cool stuff today. I'd love to know though, what made you go from, being a principal at a dance studio to focusing on this particular age group? Like, what was it about this age group? Did you see a gap in the market? Did you see a need that wasn't being met? What was it that made you go, oh, I love these guys and I want to do more work with them?
Yeah, all of that. I loved my ballet school, jazz, tap, whatever it was. Some great families, some great kids. But it was always results based. I was always working to competitions or a Stedfords or exams or whatever it might be. So it was when I when I had my own kids and sold that business, and I didn't work at all. I was just a mum, and I just loved everything about being a mum and engaging with these babies and dancing with my kids. And it was like a rain stick where it just filtered down all of my past experiences as a dancer, now as a mum. And I had kids who I wanted to enroll into dance class. And there was no way in the world I was going to put them into something that was so formal and lacked oxygen, really. So there was very...
I like that. Yeah, I like that. Lack oxygen. Yeah.
Sort of sucked in.
Yeah.
And there was nothing in... There was no early childhood dance services. There was Gymbaroo, a few music programs, but nothing that catered to that innate need a child has to express themselves. So there was a gap. I was very much inspired by it, and I wanted to know more. With having my own children, I wanted to know more about these early childhood years and how dance can make it more rewarding, make them better, prep them from school, all of that kind of stuff. So
yeah,
and I didn't know much about before kids. I didn't know much about kids. I had 2-year-olds who were playing hide and seek with themselves in the mirror, and I'm going, oh my God, this age group's really, really hard. I didn't. It was hard work initially, but it was stopping that business, having children of my own, and really looking back on what I liked and didn't like, and what I was doing by default.
Yeah, I think that's interesting, because I think as teachers, I came from a teaching background as well as a dance teacher, then to a studio owner, but we do things and we just do them, we don't know why, and some things work and we're like, wow, that class was great today, those kids were really well behaved. No, it was actually probably something that we were doing as a teacher that was engaging them in that level. I mean, when you came up with this idea for Big Steps Little Feet, how did you start it? Like, what were those challenges up front going, okay, you know what, there's a gap here for a preschool age program that does all of these things, you know, that fires on all these different senses for these children. You know, what was that process like, and what were some of the big kind of brick walls you came up against when you were putting together a program?
There wasn't many, to be honest, I have to
Wow,
say.
okay.
I did a lot of research. I did a lot of cold calling to parents.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, so there were a few things. I did a lot of cold calling to parents. I just picked up the yellow pages and I just rang. This was 11, 12 years ago. So
Yeah.
we were right on the cusp of moving from poor quality print media and advertising in newspapers and that kind of thing to going online. So, you know, I was caught in that cusp. So there was the yellow pages at that time, and I picked up the phone and I just rang and I talked to mums, and I asked them, you know, would they be interested in this? What would they like to see? And I think I spoke to over 200 parents, mums. I just researched my market to see if it was really. I didn't have to work, so if I was going to work, it was going to be great. So that was, I wasn't, half measures are fail is nothing. So I was either all in or all out. So, and once I knew there was a market there and I had a program, and I found the space, it all worked. There weren't many brick walls, and parents and children are quite a resilient, accepting kind of community. They allowed me to explore and experiment, over the next few years. And so, you know, I introduced all sorts of different programs. I had a Monday at some point where I had 4 different programs which required 4 different sets of props and music and ideas and concepts that I was putting out there, and I got feedback on them and what was working and what wasn't.